Hello, and welcome back. So, today's episode is going to be about the best way to start after 50. And I'm essentially going to talk you through my beginner's roadmap into getting started on your health and fitness journey, because I think a lot of people come into, they might join a new gym or hire a trainer, or, new year comes around and they have this all or nothing mindset. And it really does set you up to fail going in with everything at once. So, if I don't recommend trying to change everything overnight, then where should you start? Well, after working with hundreds of people over 50, I have found that the people who get the best long-term results don't necessarily work the hardest. They just simply master the basics. And I know it's boring to hear. I know it is. Because you are at a stage in your life where you've been told so many times, like, just master the basics. And it's true. So at Evolve, we focus on building strong foundations first. Think of it as a house or a building. You would not spend thousands on a beautiful roof, on these gorgeous windows, if the foundations weren't solid first. Or you wouldn't shoot the building straight up but have a thin base. You'd really build out the base so that you had a better chance of that building not toppling over. Your health is the exact same. So, what would I recommend first? Let's look at moving more. And again, I might get some silent eye rolls here, but it is simple. By this point in life, a lot of you have either got desk jobs or office jobs, or you're retired, semi-retired, and, at the end of the day, you're not moving around as much. So let's look at moving more. The first foundation is simply movement. You don't have to become a marathon runner or spend hours in a gym. Your body was designed to move. So just go for a walk. Take the stairs instead of the elevator or the lift. Park a little further away. That's one that I do give frequently. And it works. Just park further away and walk into the shops. And that way you have to physically carry your shopping back, which is the equivalent to what we call a farmer's carry in circuits or weightlifting. Get up every hour if you've been sat down, because a lot of us are becoming very, very sedentary. And, if you're in the office, get up and, walk around, sort of, pop over to the kettle and make yourself a brew and just stand up, sway your hips side to side, shake off the bones that have gone a little bit stiff or the hips that have gone stiff. For those of you who are semi-retired or retired and you find that you're beginning to binge and, sit in front of the TV quite a bit, just get up every hour and just move around a little bit. Movement doesn't have to be complicated. It just needs to happen consistently. And without sounding cringe, every step is an investment into your future health. Even just like hopping on the spot is improving your bone density. So I won't harp on any more about that, but it's a real first step. That is such an easy, free thing to start with. The second thing I would maybe bring in, or that I would bring in next, is building strength. Now, this is probably what I would say is one of the most important, because, well, if there's one type of exercise that I wish more people over 50 would prioritise, and it's not just people over 50, it's over any age, it is resistant training or weight training. Not because I want everyone to lift enormous weights, but it's because strength gives you freedom. And it's freedom to carry your shopping. It's freedom to get up and down off the floor and in and out of bed. It's freedom to play with the grandkids, to travel either with your friends or your family, especially for those of you who are becoming retired. And it's like, you've earned your wealth. You might as well go and enjoy it. And it's freedom to stay independent for as long as possible. Like, muscle isn't just for looking good. It's your insurance policy for later life. And my suggestion would always be, even if you could just get one strength training session in a week, personally, I would aim for 2 or 3 sessions a week. That's enough to make an incredible difference. But even if that's still too much, like, one is better than none. Okay, so that's my first 2 points, moving more and looking at strength training. The third point I'd probably look at is nutrition. So forget about trying to eat perfectly. Forget cutting out everything that you enjoy, and instead ask yourself the question, how can I fuel my body a little bit better today? That might mean adding a little bit more protein to even just one meal, choosing more real foods, drinking, another little glass of water. I mean, I'm not talking about drinking 2 litres a day. I'm just simply saying, for those of you who know you don't drink enough water, just a small glass. Just have that glass always on the side. So every time you walk into the kitchen, you just see that little glass. Fill it up and drink it. It can even just be half full. That could be eating more vegetables. Planning your meals instead of grabbing whatever's easiest. Now, I'm a huge advocate for planning your meals. One, because it saves money, it saves time, and it does set you up to succeed rather than reaching for cheap and convenient processed microwave meals. And therefore, later on, you feel more like you've sort of like failed and let yourself down. Now, planning your meals, you could literally just plan Monday, Tuesday. If you're not familiar with planning, you could just plan 1 or 2 days and then just buy as you go for the rest of the week. But then if you did that for 1 month, and then the second month you make a deal with yourself and you go, you know what, I'm going to plan 3 days this time. And it doesn't have to be 3 days in a row. It could be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Or if you fall short on weekends, maybe you could plan your weekends. So it's just little changes, little adaptations, over time. These small improvements repeated consistently beat perfect eating that's only going to last a week. So next, I would probably look at sleep and recovery. It's another area that is massively overlooked. And most people think that progress happens during the workout itself or the exercise itself. Whereas I want you to see this as actually the workout is just the signal and your body adapts, progresses and repairs itself whilst it's resting. So sleep affects your energy, it affects your hunger levels, your recovery, your mood, your hormones and your motivation. So don't underestimate what an early bedtime can do for your health. Recovery isn't lazy. Resting isn't lazy. Recovery and resting it's part of the plan. And that now moves me on to looking at our mindset. So this is where so many people struggle because they expect perfection. They think one bad weekend or one bad meal or a family event or a holiday, and then they convince themselves that they failed. But that's not how progress works. The healthiest people aren't perfect. They are just simply people who come back to the plan that they were following before that event, before that meal, before the holiday. And it's as simple as that. Just because you have enjoyed a donut or have enjoyed your holiday or a family gathering, it's not a negative thing. So if you have one bad meal, don't let it become a bad day. If you have one bad day, don't let it become a bad week. And always remember that the next decision is the one that matters most. And I think that's the best beginner's basic roadmap that I could probably give you guys without giving you a sense of overwhelm or confusion. So if we just take a second to look at why consistency always wins, because there's nothing that I've said there that is groundbreaking. It's actually going back to those basics, isn't it, really, when we think about it? And let's take a look at the members at Evolve Health and Fitness in Catterick. So this is the gym that I run in Catterick. And I honestly believe and see it all the time that the people who achieve the biggest transformations, and I'm not just talking about weight loss transformations, I mean transformations in all areas of health and fitness. It's not the people that are the fastest or the fittest or the most naturally athletic. They're simply the people who kept turning up week after week, month after month, and year after year. Consistency beats intensity almost every single time. And it's not what you do occasionally that will change your life. It's what you do consistently. Now, just a little bit of sharing about some of my guys that are currently coming to me. Just because I know a lot of you here are beginners, and this is more of a beginner's roadmap on how to get started, because I do feel like it can get overcomplicated and there are so many bits of instruction and tidbit ideas and tips and hints, and it's like, well, it can get confusing and overwhelming. It's like, well, where is the most appropriate place to start? Whereas just start with those real basic foundations, and from there you will be feeling better and better about yourself within a month or even 2 months of following those bits of advice. I promise you. Now, I have an amazing client called Marion, and she's actually about to start her second year. But when she initially came to me, she was very, very dubious about it. She was quite nervous and she was quite scared to start. But following those basic bits of advice, just moving more, strength training twice a week, sorting out her nutrition. She didn't have much body fat to lose, but just simply making a couple of tweaks. And she came in, she was like, Sam, my clothes are loose. Like, it's literally falling off me. And that was just following eating real foods and staying hydrated a little bit more. And, working on her mindset, like coming to the gym twice a week. It's like brushing her teeth. It's a given. And she is just so glad that she came to a point where she's actually about to start her second year with us, which I think speaks volumes. So just following them little steps really does make a difference. And, let's take another member, David. He is someone who has never, ever, ever trained weightlifting before or trained in a gym before. And he came to me and he said, Sam, I swore to myself I would never, ever join a gym. But by making this so simple and easy to follow and a friendly environment and a really, really, easy progressive weight training program for him, he is like, he comes in the gym now and he's all smiles and he's like, I still can't believe I'm here and I'm still coming to the gym. And he always swore he never would. And this is a person that I'd never trained before. And he's just living his best life. He can't believe how easy moving around is for him now, walking his dog, doing everyday activities. And lastly, I'll just quickly talk about another client who was absolutely shocked at how quickly they improved. So this member's called Lorraine, and she's a new member. She's just beginning her third month with us. And she came saying, Sam, she was really, really worried that she wouldn't take the information in very quick and she'd be rubbish and I'd have to keep reteaching her. Well, that's my bread and butter anyway. That's what I do and that's what I'm there for, is to teach you. No matter how many times you need to be shown an exercise, that's what I do. And she had this worry and fear around not remembering anything at all and, not getting anywhere or progressing. Whereas now she's in her third month and she's already going off and doing certain exercises by herself without being prompted, because she remembers what the lift is, how to perform it, how to breathe and brace. And she can't believe how quickly she's progressed through these movements. And not just with that, but just by simply following the first two steps that I said at the beginning, which is moving more and strength training twice a week. She just can't believe how well and how quickly she's improved in her health, fitness, mindset already. And that's just the first 2 points. We're yet to even start on nutrition with her as well. Now, I'll leave it there. And I'm just going to finish on giving some practical advice. So here's your challenge for this week or for next week, whenever you're ready to try it. Now, don't try changing your entire life or everything at once. I just want you to choose one thing. Just one little habit. Now, that might be a 10-minute walk after your evening meal to help with digestion. That might be adding a little bit more protein to your meal and eating that first. It might be drinking a small glass of water every time you walk into the kitchen. It might be going to bed a little bit earlier and reading a book rather than watching TV. Just keep it so simple so that it's almost impossible to fail. Because success isn't built through dramatic changes, it's built through small wins repeated over and over and over again. And maybe even get your partner involved or a friend involved, and that'll help keep you more accountable, okay? So if there's one thing that I hope you take away from today's episode, it's that you do not have to earn the right to be healthy. You don't have to wait till Monday. You don't have to lose weight before you join a gym. And you don't have to become a completely different person overnight. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. You just have to start and keep it simple, because every strong, healthy and confident person that you admire out there once stood exactly where you are now. They were like, well, where do I start? Where do I go? The only difference is that they decided to take that first step. So just remember, the best plan isn't the one that gets you the fastest results. The all or nothing mindset fails so many times. It's the one plan, the best plan is the one that you will still be doing and following a year from now. So just remember, the best plan isn't the one that gets you there, gets you the fastest results. It's the one that you will still be doing and still be following a year from now.